Hey, I'm Kate.
I'm Ashley.
I'm Renelle.
And together we are
tkistheatre.
Okay, in this episode of tkistheatre, we're going to talk about Moliere, which is our term and a half project that we've been doing, pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty
much.
So, do you want to say anything about
Moliere is some guy who's French.
And he
wrote a whole heap of plays, like The
Jean-Baptiste.
Misanthrope and Tartuffe, and The Doctor Despite Himself. There's also a movie about him, and it's on at the Kino Dentist Theatre, apparently.
Yeah, it's good.
Yes, we're hoping to go see it. It's a really good French film, and Moliere is played by a reasonably sexy man, so yeah.
With a good moustache going on.
As you do. Moliere comes from 17th century French Neoclassical Theatre, which is what we're studying.
Yeah, we went and saw at the Moliere Theatre a production of Tartuffe, which was a play written by Moliere, which is the one we're focusing on. And it was really, really good. Actually, they adapted it. Louise Fox was the person who adapted it, and it was interesting. There was the different sides. There were some good and bad parts, I have to say, to it. I liked it.
Sure.
It was interesting, recontextualising it and taking it from the 17th century and putting it into modern day Melbourne.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think some parts worked and some parts didn't. But overall, I think we enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good.
So
Interesting.
Yeah, then we decided to do our own performance of Tartuffe, or a scene out of Tartuffe.
That was on the 8th of May, which was last Thursday.
Yeah.
And we did Act 2.
Act 2.
I believe so.
Scene 1.
Scene 1, Act 2, Scene 1.
With
Orgon, Marianne and Doreen.
Yep.
Doreen was the maid and Orgon was the father. And Marianne was his daughter.
Marianne, Orgon, Doreen.
Yeah.
So pretty much Orgon wanted Marianne to marry Tartuffe.
Yep.
But Marianne was in love with Moliere. So Marianne didn't want to marry Tartuffe. And then it just sort of shows like the argument between Marianne and Orgon and Doreen having a say in between.
So I was playing Doreen, who is Marianne's personal maid, and I was really angry that Orgon here was trying to marry Marianne off to Tartuffe, because Tartuffe is a really fat, red-faced, grotesque sort of a man. And also, the whole play is about Tartuffe, who is a priest, and he pretends to be really pious and holy, and he worms his way into the family, and Orgon is in love with him in a paternal sort of way.
Yeah. And I was Orgon, and as Vanilla said, I was pretty much in love with Tartuffe. I thought that if I believed in Tartuffe and his holy ways, that I would have pretty much a good shot at heaven, and so would the rest of my family. So I tried to lead my daughter by example, and tried to get her to marry Marianne, to marry Tartuffe. And it was really quite stupid of me, because Tartuffe wasn't in love with my daughter, he was in love with my wife, which is a totally different thing.
That's another story, folks.
That's another story. So, it was pretty hard playing a guy, I've got to say. But yeah, it was worth it. Yeah, because during our performance, we all took on different managers of different things. So I was the makeup director. Yeah. She was the
I was in charge of costumes.
And I was in charge of set design, which was very hard because of the limited resources we had.
And also props. Yeah, I think our main thing was when we're each taking on a different stagecraft element is that we had limited resources.
Yeah.
But we worked as hard as we could, and we pulled it together, and we're posting up our performance, so you guys can all check it out. Leave us some feedback.
Constructive.
Constructive or pleasant.
Yeah. Some of the problems we came across during this was just acting styles. We had to sort of overact, and it was really, really hard for us because we've never actually done proper acting.
We're really new to this.
Yeah, but we're really trying, and we were pretty good actually.
It also took a very long time to get ready. It took us about an hour to get ready for 15 minutes.
I mean, among the pizza and everything.
Definitely. I mean, we had pizza and garlic bread and Coke and bottles of water delivered to the school for us. Yeah. But it took a long time. We did the traditional makeup.
We did the makeup.
Okay, so with set design, I thought of what I thought of the set. That made no sense whatsoever. Pretty much, I had my own ideas about the set design, and I thought it'd be very minimal, not so flash. Even though the family's very rich and upper class, I thought keeping it minimal was good, and also helped because of the resources that we had. And I did my best with the props, and pretty much
It
it.
looked good for what we had.
I also, main thing I learned was how to measure a set and how important it is
gosh,
to
that's so
keep
hard.
the furniture in the same place, because you get people who move it around and you just don't know where everything goes again. So it's best to do a drawing of the set with the measuring. And
Definitely. And it was really tough if like we come in and all our set would have been moved because it mucks up our entire scene because we've choreographed where we're to move at what point.
Yeah.
So
it also takes up our time because we have to rearrange everything, and then that takes up our lesson time.
yeah. So stop it.
So I did the makeup, and I based it on French Neoclassic makeup and 17th century, and it's unlike we ever wore before, guys, was it? It was just
Very thick.
it was just horrible. So I put a base of foundation on, and then I'd wait for that to dry because it was just disgusting. And then we put the white eyeshadow up here to create new cheekbones, really, because really we started off with our face, but then we had to cover it and make a whole new face, like a whole new mask. And then go with the blush and go the triangle effect just there to make it look like they were very, it was a sign of wealth, really. The more in colour you were, the more rich you were, practically.
Exactly.
And then drawing on the lips with the little bow and the eyeliner, and the worst part of the makeup was the eyebrows. We couldn't have our own eyebrows, we had to draw on our own eyebrows, so we had to cover it with this putty sort of stuff, and it ripped out all your eyebrows. And then draw them on, and if you didn't get one equal, you had to just start all again. And,
It took ages to
It
get
really
on.
did.
And ages to get off.
Too. I used a bar of soap to like scrub my face.
Yeah.
And I got soap in my eye and I cried.
I think probably like the one thing with hair and makeup, which was Kate's role, was that we had friends helping us, and Josie accidentally burnt Ashley.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, you can have a close up if you want, but maybe not.
yeah.
Cool.
It was difficult, but we made it.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did really well.
I think we did too.
And it was hard because makeup and hair had to be done on the night, and where a stage you could sort of do and costumes are done.
You can get
Makeup
ready
and hair
beforehand.
Yeah. Anyway, on to
Yeah,
costumes.
it was pretty hard. Well, I was in charge of costumes, and so first of all, I took a basic stock of the wardrobe, and I had a look around and decided if there was anything that I could use in there. I sketched up some designs of what I'd like, and then my next major thing I was thinking about was how did the women in those days have such tiny waists but such huge skirts? So for the tiny waists, we thought corsets, and we got on eBay, good old eBay, and we purchased some corsets, and we got a really good deal with some extra things thrown in. To make the full-bodied skirt, I was talking with my family and wondering what I'm going to do, and my mum suggested I call my grandma. And I called my nanny, and I talked to her on the phone, and she said that there's this way you get these petticoats, and then you add wire, which makes it stick out. So during Easter, I went down and I borrowed her petticoat and a couple of other things off her to like copy the model. And then I got home and bought lots of stuff, even though the costume budget was zero.
Yeah, the whole budget was zero.
The whole budget for everything was zero. But anyway, so one Sunday, me, my mum, my dad, we worked together. My mum pinned, I sewed, and my dad put the wire in. So it was all pretty good. And then pretty much the rest of costumes, I just took into account what my inspiration, what I wanted, and what messages I wanted to convey, and then combine that with, what we actually had. So that's pretty much it for costumes.
So for our next unit, which is Bunraku Puppetry, we are rotating for our next performance. So I think this way we get a hands-on experience with it all, so we learn it better and we understand it. And
I think that's good because I didn't do set design, I don't really know that much about it. We did a makeup unit in class, so it's not so bad, but the other girls probably don't know much about costuming, so
definitely not.
it's good for us. So for Bunraku, we're all going to work together and we're all going to do everything. And this time our teacher, Ms. Anketel, who would love to be mentioned on our YouTube site, she won't actually be directing us like she did for the Moliere unit, it'll just be all us.
Yeah.
So hopefully it turns out okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll do great, but we'll keep you posted. Fun Bunraku facts coming up. Yeah, that's good.
See ya.
See yas.